Great. All right, so the name is pronounced Veseho. Thank you. Benue State. All right, thank you. Slide working. All right. So, what if the little efforts you can make, your voice, your ideas, your resources, could transform completely someone's life? So today we'll talk about community-based interventions and how they can transform global futures. And if there's one thing that I'd like you to take away from here is to realize that you don't need humongous efforts. That little thing you can do could really shift lives for people. It was J.F. Kennedy who says that, TV's not working, but that for our nations to go forward, and if nations will go forward, the speed at which we will be able to accelerate our growth would not be any different from the level of exposure in education and human minds that would transform, and that stays with me, but I like us to look at some of the nations that have developed and what is critical about them. So look at the countries by number of STEM graduates. You see that China leads that with 3.5 million. This was 2020. You see India, you see United States with about 820,000. Look the other way and you'll find that the most valuable nations are not any different from the nations that have the highest STEM educations. And it doesn't matter whether they are pulling these resources from other continents, this human resource from other continents, but it's the fact that they are training these people. Now, if you come back to compare that number of patents that are produced by these countries, you still find that the same set of countries that have higher STEM education, exposure, have higher patents. And if you check the businesses that are most valuable in Africa, you have Microsoft, Apple, this was our 2024, and all of that, you still find that most of them, are from these countries who have strong STEM education. So this makes a case for STEM education, right? If you look at the data today, this is like the top, this was 10 days ago. NVIDIA leads that with your most valuable companies, and you see the countries, you see that it's the same, countries that are leading in STEM education, right? What does that tell us? Top 10 most valuable countries are technology companies are the ones that are leading. So we can't do away with STEM, right? Now, what is the story? In Nigeria, as of 2019, there were only 80,668 graduates in STEM. And between 2010 to 2025, only 340 patents were filed in Nigeria. So you see the gap, right? We saw this, if you look at the Jumpstart again, you find that only 29.3% of students are able to get more than, 50% of the JAM score. This is disturbing. For us, it was challenging, but we decided to make efforts, right? And these are the efforts. Please ensure that the video can play. Sorry. Help me, Tim.
In many underserved communities, young people are full of potential, but starved of opportunity. Without access to quality education, dreams fade and futures slip away. The Early Bird Project was created to change this story. Our mission is simple: to bring STEM education to students preparing for JAM and WAEC. We believe that when young people can think critically, they can solve problems, seize opportunities, and shape a better future for themselves and for the world. Day by day, barriers fell.
For Akim.
Badar Mubarak.
My score in JAMB was 242.
191.
Applied to UNIMAG.
Ekiti State University.
Computer Science.
You can't get 9.
Students who once fought over limited opportunities are now building careers in science and technology. This is bigger than one project, bigger than one community. Across Nigeria and throughout Africa, we have the power to close academic gaps at scale, but we need champions. We need communities that believe in this vision. We need people who understand that investing in one student's STEM education can create ripples of change across continents. So what are you waiting for? Join the Early Bird Project today. Fund education, create opportunities, help us prove that when communities think global and go global, the future becomes limitless. Remember, change begins with you.
Begins with you. Right. So these were some of the efforts during the 2024 version of that project. We went to some of their schools and we taught them, and then we brought some of them to NUTM campus and we exposed them to world-class facilities. And later on this year, Dami, who runs the Bra Palace Initiative, reached out to say, oh, can we design another program for scholarship and JAM and all of that? And we put in the effort, we designed that program and they've run it. And the results will amaze you, right? So this is what our scores look like from some of the people whom we got the data from. You see most of them getting up to 200 and most of them actually going. So we have about 13 candidates who got 1% score of 200 and above, and then we have 84 who passed the 180 cutoff mark, right? But what is more interesting is that we saw the trend in math, right? And you'll find that for most of the candidates, the math score, was the highest that we have, which means students actually have potential to do science and STEM very well, right? What is going on now with some of these students? 2 of them got scholarship to do cybersecurity at the NUTM. 2 got admissions this year from the last JAM that we just did already, and then some of them have gone on to do technological trainings and are developing their lives, right? This is how much our little efforts have transformed into these lives, right? And you can imagine what they would also do for others, right? It is Malala that says, 1 child, 1 teacher, 1 book, and 1 pen can change the world, right? It doesn't take so much. You don't need to leave your space. As a matter of fact, the lady who did the video that you watched that told this story committed her time, her voice, and skills. She's seated in this room, actually. Hafiza is in this room, right? So this is how much people are supporting the efforts, and we urge you to take that chance. It doesn't take $1 million. It takes a willing heart. It takes a voice. It takes an idea. Thank you.